Hi everyone, Amanda Wolfchild here, and today we'll be looking at a video made by a good buddy of mine, Danny the Dingo.
Damn it, Danny! Jesus fuck.
He got a guideline strike because someone decided this was hate speech. Let's watch it and see.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. Oh, we got another video by Riley Dennis today. I feel like we've been doing Riley a lot. It's because Ashley Mardell hasn't been posting videos. But in this video...
In this video, what?
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Riley tries to make the case that...
Spit it out, Dingo.
Sex is socially constructed.
What the fuck? No way.
Let's have a look.
I know there are people who don't think being transgender is a thing, and this video is not for them. This video is for the people who say, yes, trans women are women, but they are still biologically male. Because while their intentions might be good, the impact that these words have is actually very harmful. Trans women are not male, and saying that they are allows some people to justify the mistreatment of trans people. So I'm going to assume that you already really believe that trans women are women. If you don't believe that, this video isn't meant to convince you. Maybe instead of leaving an angry comment, you could go do some research into what it means to be trans.
Well, Riley, as it just so happens, I do believe that transgender people exist, but I think if anyone needs to do some research into what they are and how they are what they are, I think it's you. I have a video on that. I think I'll put it in the description down below. You can watch it if you ever actually see this video.
I also want to point out Riley's arrogance here. He puts a video out meant to correct or educate people about trans people, but he's only aiming at certain people. He's putting a video out publicly, but saying only certain people are meant to watch or comment. Fuck you, Riley. I do what I want.
I will leave some links in the description to some very good resources to get you started. Alright, so let's say that you're trying to be a good ally to trans people and you heard that sex and gender are two different things. Sex is biological and gender is a social construct. That's not entirely true. Sex and gender are two different things, but they're both partly social constructs, just in different ways. For a long time, gender has been assigned to people based on their perceived sex. A doctor looks at a baby's genitals and determines what gender it will be raised as.
Well, you and I can agree that sex and gender are intrinsically linked. I would say that only one of them has any kind of social qualities to it. Now, as for the doctor does not look at the baby and say, this baby will be raised as a boy. No. He says, this baby has a penis, therefore it's a boy. Or, this baby has a vagina, therefore it's a girl.
However, even within
That's right. The nature versus nurture debate has long since been settled, Riley. It's about equal, leaning more one way or the other, depending solely on the individual.
In these communities, binary sex has, for some reason, stuck around as the same kind of unquestionable fact that we used to think gender was. I've made a video before about intersex conditions and how sex isn't a perfect binary, but for now let's just talk about what it means to be male or female. Because I would argue that sex needs to go through the same change that gender has already gone through. It's not a static fact, it's a social construct. I'm sure that some people are having this knee-jerk reaction that sex is based on biology and you can't change a person's biology.
Well, that'd be because you can't, Riley. But I'm going to hold this point back until the end of the video. But one thing I will say, gender nor sex need to go through the kind of change in definition that you're trying to put it through. And
Look, I know Riley's logic, trying to conflate biology with social norms, is disgusting, but come on, Dingo, have some class.
I just channeled my inner Rory again. Sorry about that.
But that's exactly what we used to say about gender. Sex is a way of categorizing humans based on a combination of a few traits: chromosomes, genitals, gonads, hormones, and secondary sex characteristics like facial hair or breast development. Most people never have their chromosomes tested. They're not tested at birth, and they're not tested at regular checkups. Unless your doctor suspects that something might be wrong with your chromosomes, you'll probably never have them tested in your life, and you certainly can't tell a person's chromosomes by looking at them. Hormones are also not visible without a test, and genitals and gonads are usually not visible most of the time. So the way that most people have of determining someone's sex is simply their secondary sex characteristics that developed in puberty. Before puberty, children with penises and children with vaginas are really not that different. It's the rush of hormones around puberty that begins to develop the secondary sex characteristic.
I'm sorry, what? Well, Riley, I can tell you've never had kids, and I'll be blunt, I've never had kids either, but everyone who I've spoken to who's had kids have told me that boys are much harder to deal with than girls, but girls are much easier to make upset. See, these differences in the way that boys and girls think can be found at ages as early as 3 to 4 years old. What the fuck are you talking about?
I do have kids, and I have nieces and nephews and cousins, and there's a difference in boys and girls. What the difference entails can be hard to define exactly because it does vary based on the individual children, of course. But for the most part, girls grow up much faster and begin to imitate adulthood earlier. They are also more cautious and easy to jump to emotions. Boys are less attentive to the social and adult world around them and more intent on adventure, exploration, and invention. They're more likely to jump to an anger response than a girl typically when they are upset, and they have more trouble overall telling you why they are upset to begin with. There are some key differences in how the minds of boys and girls work, and we can see that from early ages.
People with penises tend to develop facial hair, gain muscle mass, and get a deeper voice. People with vaginas tend to develop breasts, get wider hips, and have more subcutaneous fat. But these are not perfect differentiators of sex. Some people with penises don't develop much, if any, facial hair, while some develop beards, and the amount of facial hair that they have doesn't make them more or less male. The same goes for people with vaginas. Some of them will develop large breasts, some of them will develop small breasts, but neither of those is more or less female. There's a lot of overlap between these characteristics. Some people with vaginas will have deeper voices than some people with penises, and some people with penises will be shorter than some people with vaginas. It's not like all people with penises fit into one box and all people with vaginas fit into another box. It's like they're all in the same box, but people with penises tend to hang out on one side and people with vaginas tend to hang out on the other.
Oh yeah? So all the physical characteristics can be shared? I'll tell you what, you find me a skinny guy with boobs, like I'm talking like knockers, big boobs, double D's. You find me a skinny male with double D's, and I will believe you. What in the hell? Or better yet, find me a woman with no genetic defect that has a full beard. And by the way, a woman on testosterone doesn't count.
I actually get where Riley is going here. I'd just say he went one step way too fucking far. See, there are separate boxes. It's just, those boxes aren't that different from one another, and they're both equally important. Why does everyone have to conflate being different as one of the two must be lesser than the other?
Oh my God, Riley.
Here's where people say, well, you can't change your chromosomes, and yeah, that's correct. But if you want to argue that sex is entirely determined by chromosomes, then you're arguing against the definition of what we call biological sex. Because sex has never been only about chromosomes, it's been about all 5 of these traits. And tell me, what good does dividing people based on their chromosomes do? If chromosomes don't determine your hormones, secondary sex characteristics, genitals, or gonads, what purpose do they serve in differentiating people?
Well, now, if we're talking about walking down the street, none at all. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But let me tell you something, Riley. If I see you on the street, you know what's automatically going to tell me that you're male? Voldemort.
Voldemort? He who must not be named, you mean? Fuck, Dingo.
But I'm not saying that for a trans person to be trans, they have to have all the surgeries and take all the hormones. A trans person is trans if they claim that identity, because a cis person doesn't become trans when they have their ovaries removed due to cancer. And a trans person isn't cis just because they can't afford hormones. Having a vagina doesn't make you a female, regardless of whether you were born with it or got it through surgery. Gender is about your identity, and therefore, so is sex. The fact that sex is so fluid means that thinking of sex as a binary, unmoving fact of life is just wrong. So if you're a trans woman, you're female. If you're a trans man, you're male. And if you're neither a man nor a woman, then you're neither male nor female.
Transgender is not an identity that you can just claim, Riley. You will never convince the logical, intelligent people of the world of that. Now, to address your other point that you made, no, I understand if you can't afford the hormones, but someone with legitimate dysphoria is going to find a way, or they're going to explain to people, hey, I can't afford the hormones yet, but I plan to transition.
The way I see it, you can be a trans that is stuck in the wrong body due to an inability beyond your control. But that makes you a woman stuck in a man's body, or vice versa. Basically, you can have the opposite gender brain, but until you do something to change the body, you'll be seen as what you are.
Because that's what makes you a transgender. The transitioning part. It's kind of where that word trans comes from. Now, to address the points of this video as a whole, you brought up 4 different things that, in theory, can be changed or can be applied to say that sex is a social construct. Let me explain to you why you're wrong and why biological sex is still unmoving. Number 1, everything that you proposed is medical intervention. Things being removed medically. Pills changing the way that your body functions. With no medical intervention, the sexual characteristics that you have stated in this video will correctly predict someone's sex 100% of the time. Now, second, what you were talking about were not changes in biology. They were changes in anatomy, the physical stuff. To change biology, you would have to change us at the molecular and cellular level. Hormones does not make your DNA female. Hormones does not make your DNA male. If I were to test your DNA right now, Riley, you would still be male. But guess what? If I were to test Blair White's DNA right now, she would still be biologically male, whether you like it or not. If someone digs up your bones in 100 years and examines your skeletal structure, you will still be identified as a male. If they test whatever DNA might still be inside your bones, you will come up as a male. Now, I often refer to you as she, her pronouns, and Riley, and that is because I try my damnedest not to be fucking mean to you people. But I reach certain points, Justin, where I decide you don't deserve it. Because you are an asshole about being a transgender. There are plenty of people who are not assholes about it, but you are. And you try to impose your view on the world on everyone else and say that everyone who disagrees with you is vile and evil. And I cannot stand you.
Just fucking A right, dingo. 100% agree with that. No more to add, you just hit the nail on the head.
Anyway, that's it for this video. I've rambled on for long enough. Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Oh, wait. No, it isn't. Because this video was flagged for hate speech. But we didn't find any hate speech, did we? We found facts and opinion, but no genuine hatred or hateful speech. What the fuck, YouTube? Are you hating on Danny because he's a dingo? Tell me what y'all think in the comment section, and be sure to check out Danny's channel and his Minds account, which will be linked below, as well as check out Darkling Studios, who did my art. Much love, everyone. You're behind on your facts, so cunt, please relax. The patriarchy died. Now you're whinging and minging for naughtin', I'm cringing. You're just so fucking silly to me, with your whining and crying like you think you're dying. Bitch, please.